Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm Sarah from Handmade After Dark. And this week for the online class to go, we are using the Cutest Onesie Bundle. So I will just switch my camera around. Alrighty, and my camera is not quite in the right view. There we go. It's moving a bit. Still need to get my new one set up. Hopefully that will, let me just try and tighten that bit so it stays. That's a bit better. All right, so we are using the Cutest Onesie Bundle for this week's class. So you've got the stamp set here and then the coordinating dies that go with it. So it's quite a small set of dies to go with the stamp set, which the benefit is that it's a little less expensive for the bundle because it's smaller. So that is always a benefit, but it cuts out the onesie. You've got the little pocket, and then you've also got the numbers, the little coat hanger, and the rattle. So let's have a look at the cards. So these are the three we are going to be making this week. Now for this first one, so if you are placing an order and getting the class to go, so a minimum $75 order before shipping and after any Stampin' Rewards redemptions, you get the class to go kits, which include the cardstock DSP for 2 of each of the 3 cards. For this first one, you will get 1 in the pink, and then the second one will actually be in the blue. So you can have 1 of each, but the other 2 will be 2 of the same. This first one will be 1 pink, 1 blue. So we're going to make the pink one tonight, and I will just move these to the side. And while I'm doing that, I'm also just going to try and get Facebook working if I can, just so that I can see who's here and say hello, because I missed the comments last week. Sorry, Dimity and Terry. Didn't see your comments until afterwards. All right. So for the first one, we're going to use a Pretty in Pink card base. And then we also have DSP from the Country Woods pack, a die cut label, some more paper, and then we have, once I find them, there we go. I have lots. I pre-prepared some of these when I was making my samples, so I made a whole stack of these. Oh, and I did have a spare one of those. So once I get everything out, let's just tip all these out. That'll be easier. Tip them out and then clean them up. All right. So we need 1. So that is on the beautiful bouquet paper. That one's just on the basic white. Got the basic white sentiment piece. We have the rattle, 1 each, Pretty in Pink and Petunia Pop. And same for the little coat hangers. And then we need the paper, and I think that is it. So we can put, oh, we also need the bit of Pretty in Pink cardstock so that we can actually make the drawers. It will be, there we go, there it is. Now, this one we need to die cut slightly, just one end. So I'll put those over here, and I'm using the Unbounded Love dies, and I'm using this one here. Haven't got around to putting these on magnetic sheets. So we're just going to use one edge of that and basically just cut out about there to create the legs. So let's get this out. So just make sure you line up even on either side. And I realize my big shot's a little bit out of view here, at least the bottom end of it. But you just want to line it up so it's even on either side and not too far up. I'll see if I can just move that forward ever so slightly. There you go. So you can see about where that's going to sit. Just make sure that it doesn't move when you put the plate down. And there we have it. So we can put this off to the side. And I'll put that back in the pack before I lose it. Bring everything back over. And we can start. Actually, let's do the stamping before I forget. So we're going to use Petunia Pop for the sentiment, and there are two that we are using. So we've got the New Baby, and where is it? A Big Welcome to Yours. So that one will go up the top, and then New Baby will sit underneath. So just centered up towards the top. Doesn't have to be right at the top. You've got a little bit of space. Having said that, that's probably a little lower than I wanted, but I have a spare once I find it. Let's try that again. So find my spare piece. And actually, I'm going to do New Baby first so that I know where that one needs to sit. And then we can put this one up the top. Okay. That's better. Still, it's a little bit of a tight fit, but it fits. All right, let's move that to the side. And we'll stick down the DSP first. Camera doesn't seem to want to stay. Haven't set my new camera up yet. I do have it. I just haven't got it set up yet, but hopefully this week. And before I forget, just a reminder that registrations for the online global retreat are now open. So early bird pricing is still available. So if you're on my email list, you will get all the details and the link in tomorrow's email. If you're not on my email list, you should head over to my blog and sign up. But there should also be, well, there is also a post on my Facebook page that has the link to the sign up form as well. All right. Now we want to put that one down there. We're going to put that up on dimensionals. Just need to make sure you have enough room for the sentiment. That will also be popped up, but we just want to make sure we don't put this one too low down. And I'm actually going to use the foam adhesive strips for this one. Just found that you can use the regular dimensionals, that works absolutely fine. I just found that using the strips was quite handy for this one because it kept it nice and even all the way around. So that one is going to fit nicely along there. And then we'll just cut the rest of these to the length that we need, or thereabouts. These foam strips are also really good if you want to make shaker cards. And I'm going to add a little bit more to the corners there. It's just and just to keep it nice and even, we will get one in there and the other one down in there. All right. Now we can keep that sentiment there just so I've got a guide for the placement. Once I get all the back ones off. Oh, that one's decided it doesn't like being up there. Well, that's a pity because that is where you're going to stay eventually. Have I got? It's not super sticky, which is why it's not sticking so well. It'll be fine once we put it down. So let's just move that, make sure it's in the right spot. And that one in the middle. All right, then we want the three, what are essentially the drawers, and we do want to pop these up on dimensionals as well, because we want to be able to hang the coat hangers over the edge. So this card will have quite a bit of dimension to it. So just be aware of that if you are posting. Just got a bit of extra height. All right, so just in the center, a little down from the top for the first one, and then just roughly line up the other two before you start sticking them down, just so you make sure they're going to end up in the right spot. And you've got even gaps in between. Okay. Yep. There we go, one more. Right. Last one of these. Okay. Alrighty, and we may as well stick the sentiment down now before I forget, seeing as we're getting everything stuck. We'll just get that one in place. Okay, up the top. Alrighty, now. So we've got the two onesies, the two rattles, and the two coat hangers. We will do the rattles first. So what I'm going to do with these, sorry, I'm just going to, camera is not cooperating tonight. Alrighty, so what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to adhere them together just very lightly, just so that they sit together, and then just use a dimensional to stick the two down. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue on the side. Just makes it a little bit easier. Oop, make sure it's the right way around. That would help. So then if they're together, it just makes it a bit easier to stick them both down at once. So they're just going to sit up there. So we get a dimensional. I'm actually going to get one of the bigger ones for this and set it across the two. And then I'm just going to have it so that it is slightly on, slightly off. Oh, actually, I'm going to need to move that over a little bit further. So it's sort of partly on, partly off. And make sure you've got enough room for the sentiment. And sorry, I actually need to, don't mind me, I just need to rearrange. Just going to move that ever so slightly. Try not to mangle it too much in the process so that it actually sits where I want it to sit. There we go, that's better. Alrighty, now with the onesies, with the die cuts, there is actually, don't know how well you can see that on camera, but it does cut a little slit in the top. So you can actually slide the coat hanger up and have it sitting in there. So I am going to add just a tiny bit of glue on either side just to hold them in place. So you don't need a lot. You just want to hold them in place. It just makes it a little bit easier to work with. So you just want to slide it up. Probably should do this one in summer when my hands aren't completely numb. That's all right. So we just slide it up, add some glue. And just makes it a little bit easier. Actually, I will need a bit more glue in a minute. So we are going to arrange these so that they hang, the edge of the coat hanger hangs over the edge of the drawers. So before you stick anything down, just decide roughly where you want them to go. And then once you're happy, work out which one needs to be stuck down first. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue to the tip of that because that will sit behind. And then because that's going to sit there, I'll add a little bit of glue to the bottom there and a bit across the top. And then I'll just move that one off to the side, slide that under, work out where I want it to sit, press it down, and then we'll do the same for the other one. So that one's going to sit up there. Tiny bit of glue there, and then a bit across the top, and some down the bottom. Alrighty, and then all we need to do now is add some embellishments to make the drawer handles. So you only need to add them on the areas that are uncovered, obviously, which is why we do this bit at the end. So I'm using the 2024 to 2026 in color pearls. I haven't actually opened this one yet, so I'm just going to, if you cut down the side of the plastic, you can then just slide them out each time. So if I put that back, you don't have to keep undoing the adhesive. You can just slide it out, much easier, and you don't get embellishment stuck on bits of adhesive. So I'm going to use what do you reckon? I used Pretty in Pink on the sample, but they were different ones now. What do you reckon? Are these going to be too pale, or are they going to be okay? Let's just see if I can pull this off without sending embellishments everywhere. What do you reckon? Pink or Petunia Pop? I reckon that these ones, the pink might be a little bit too pale. Let's try Petunia Pop. See how we go. And then we don't need one on that side or that side really. You could almost put one on that side, but I reckon we can get away without it. Or maybe, yeah, we can get away without it. My original one I had a little bit further over, but we could. What do you reckon? Chuck another one over there? Yeah, let's have it. Why not? We can sort of, oh, that's a bit too far. We can, once it decides to stop attaching to my finger, we can gently nudge that along so that it sits just underneath. There we go. I reckon that's fine for the others. They're covered enough. Alrighty, so that is the first card. And then the blue one as well will come in the kit for that one. So you get one of each. Let's put those to the side. The next one. Oh, go. A little bit too much stuff all over the place here. Where's my second card gone? So let's bring that back in. So that is our second one. So in kits, if you are getting a kit, will include the basic white cardstock, and you'll also, for all of these, you'll also get the basic white piece for the insert for all of the cards as well. So you get that, the die cut stylish shapes, you get basic white cardstock so that you can stamp and die cut the onesie, and the basic black, or so you can die cut the coat hangers. You will get the DSP, you'll get the stylish shapes label for your sentiments, and ribbon. Now, the if you saw my video last week, may have mentioned all of the ribbons from the 2024 to 2026 in colors are now on the last chance list. So if you do want any of those ribbons, you will need to order them sooner rather than later. I don't know what stock levels are like, but they are on the last chance list. All right, so we will do the stamping and coloring first. So we just need to do the sentiment for this one, and I used the congratulations sentiment, and I'm using the Summer Splash ink. So this one fits nicely in this banner. All right, and we will, it's totally optional. We'll color some of the onesie. Now for this one, I used the Stampin' Write markers. So these ones, but in Summer Splash. I'm going to use the Blends Delight Summer Splash blend for this one. You can use whichever you would prefer, or you can just leave it white. So the Stampin' Write markers are quite dark, whereas with the blends, you've got the light and the dark, so you've got a bit more control over the colors, or over the depth of color, and can go as light or as dark as you like. Alrighty. To this side, and start putting this together. So we will start, actually, no, we don't want that one just yet. We will stick the 3 pieces of DSP down, and then we need to add the ribbon before we stick it down to the card front. So we will just make sure I've actually cut everything to the right size. Okay, roughly where it's all going, and I'm definitely using the green glue for this one, because you get that little bit of extra time to adjust your pieces if you need to, which I pretty much always need to, so highly recommend the green glue for this section. So you just want to make sure you've got a bit of border around all the edges. middle one. And I'm just going to double check. Yep. Just want to make sure I've got enough gap, but not too much in between, so that the last piece is in the right spot and doesn't look weird because it's got a massive gap or a really tiny one. Okay. Alrighty, get that down. That's all good. Now you need to add the ribbon and make a mess in the progress. Progress. Now we want to wrap this around and tie a bow. You just want to make sure that the bow sits far enough across that you've got room for your circle. Oh, try not to drop the ribbon everywhere. So I'm just going to make sure that I've got enough length. And probably cut in the wrong spot, but we'll see. See how we go. And then I am going to, once I've roughly worked out that everything is in the right spot and about where I want it, I am going to add a bit of Terran tape to the back of the ribbon, just so that it sticks to the back of the card and just makes it a little easier to work with when trying to tie the bow. So I'll just make sure that that's, yeah, that'll be enough. Just means it doesn't move around quite so much. And tying bows is not one of my strengths, so I need all the help I can get. So just make sure we've got that roughly where we want it. That's probably about right. Okay. And then I'm also, once I get to it, I will add the glue dot as well. So once I worked out, so that's about where the bow is going to sit, make sure there's room for that. So I'm just going to put that down and grab a glue dot. If they decide to cooperate. And I'm just going to stick that down there. It just means that that is now a bit more secure and makes it much, much easier to tie the bow. All right, now let's just adjust this. And seeing as it's being a little bit difficult, I'm actually going to add another one under there just to keep it where I want it. Now we can add that to the card front. And I'm going to use the green glue just because it's a bit easier when you've got the ribbon. But personal preference, use whatever you prefer for this one. I'll add a bit of glue over the ribbon as well, just to make sure it stays stuck. And I can't never see the score lines particularly well, so I'm always kind of, I know roughly where it is, but I'm also kind of guessing at the same time and hoping I haven't messed it up. All right, there we go. Now, as we checked, we have enough room there. I'm going green glue again just because it's there, it's open, and it's just easier. And also because it's over the ribbon, it can sometimes stick a little easier. At least I find it does. Use what you've got and what you prefer. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the previous card with the let's make sure I've got it the right way with the coat hangers. Once I get them to cooperate, and I'll just stick it down, just a little bit of glue under there and under there. Once it comes out, there we go. Just to keep it nice and secure. Stops it sliding back out. And then we're going to use some dimensionals. And my camera keeps moving, not behaving. All right. Well, I'm running out of, well, this sheet at least, but there's plenty of extra bits. Make sure you do use all your side bits, or bones as some people call it, of your dimensionals, because they are just as good. Oh, that's right. I actually was going to, this could be interesting. Oh, I forgot to stamp the, now this might work. This might be a complete disaster because I put dimensionals on the back. Where's my mini block? Got dimensionals on the back. So this, let's see if this is going to work. I may well and truly mess this up, but we shall see. Excellent. All good. I do like it when things actually work. Most of the time I mess them up, especially something like that, but it worked. It's all good. So let's take get all these backing pieces off. Throw my glue to the floor, apparently. Yeah, we're just gonna about there. And then we just need some dimensionals for the sentiment. And down to, that is the end of the main dimensional pieces, but you've got all these side pieces which work just as well. And make sure you use them. They're also really handy when you need to cut very thin pieces for certain sections, because you can cut nice little pieces. All right, all that is left now is to add some embellishments. Where are they hiding? Here they are. All right, so we are going with the summer slush. So we will add one of the big ones up there, and a, oh, come on. Medium one and a small one, and then we'll add a couple of little ones to the sentiment. And there we go. That is card number 2. One more. Alrighty. Let's get this one out. So this one is Darling Duckling. So I'll just find it. There we go. Pull this one back out. So that's the final one. So this one has an embossed piece of basic white. So it's embossed with the Forever Plaid embossing folder. You've got stylish shapes circle. You'll have some Darling Duckling cardstock to stamp and die cut. And I need to remember there is another piece to stamp on there. The banner for your sentiments. Some DSP and some black cardstock to die cut the coat hanger and the insert, of course. All right, so I stamped this one using the Darling Duckling ink, and I have a feeling I got that I needed Darling Duckling, and it's not on my desk. Don't mind yourselves, I'll be back very shortly. Nope. No, that's not it. There. I put everything away that I wasn't good, well, most things away that I wasn't going to need, and got a bit too ambitious and put more than I needed away. That's all right. Let's see. Now we need, and we also need the sentiment, which is that one. So just going to stamp this in the Darling Duckling. And then for the sentiment, I am using basic grey, which I did pull out. Wow. And where's it gone? There it is. So I'm going with the wishing you lots of joy sentiment. And my basic grading pad is one of the old ones, so it's probably needs re-inking. There we go. That's out of the way. All right, let's move that to the side. First things first, let's put the embossed piece down, and I'll use the green glue. Oh, that's right. I threw it to the floor. So I'll use that just because it gets into all the little nooks and crannies of the embossed pieces a little better. But of course, use what you've got. And also just what you prefer. Everyone has different preference for adhesive and different reasons. So use whatever you find to be best for you. Okay, stick that down, and then the DSP is just going to go in the center. And again, because it's going onto an embossed piece, I will use the green glue again. All over the place. So in the center, just make sure you've got it lined up so you don't have any white space at either end. That's all looking good. Alrighty, now the circle, I am going to stick that up on dimensionals. And I'm just going to use a bunch of my edge pieces. And we'll just back it down. Alrighty. And take all those backing pieces off. Okay. Nearly there. Alrighty. So that is going to sit down there. And so we just want that will sit down there. Add some dimensionals to this one. So just stick that up a little bit from the bottom there. And we will do the same as what we did with the other coat hangers, where we added some, just a little bit of adhesive on the back. And it doesn't matter too much if it squidges out a bit, because it's going to be stuck down anyway. Now this one we are going to hang over the edge there. So we'll add a tiny bit of adhesive on the tip there. When it decides to come out, it's a little bit cold here, and when it gets cold, it doesn't like to cooperate as much, even though it's a new bottle. All right, so we'll just hang that down. And we'll just press that up into the back there so it sits nicely. And then all that is left to do for this one is to add some embellishments, and we are going with the same 2024 to 2026 in color flat pearls. So we'll just add a few of these. And there we go. Just clear some of this out of the way, bring all the cards back in. And that's the first one. I'll bring the blue one back in as well. So for this first card, you'll get one pink, one blue, and then two each of the green and the yellow if you're doing the kits. All right, so that is the cards for this week's class to go. I will switch my camera view back. All righty, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the projects. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye.